LinkedIn. So please give her a warm welcome.
All right.
Matthias, could you bring me a cup of water, please?
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you. Okay, hi guys. I'm Alex from Big A Tech Search. I put the A in Big A. So I'm a technical recruiter now, and I've been working in Portland since 2007 as a technical recruiter. But I moved to Portland in 1998 to work for Consolidated Freightways, which is now Daimler Trucks. And I was a developer for many years. As a PeopleSoft developer, I started out in IT operations at 17 and moved on into development. And then I've had some carpal tunnel problems with my hands, and I had to figure out another way to reinvent myself in a new career. And technical recruiting was it. And I totally enjoy it, and I love all the new technology and staying part of things by recruiting for things. I unfortunately don't know how to actually code in Java, or I don't know a lot of the new stuff, object-oriented programming. My last language was like COBOL. And anyway, so I love applications. I love software, right? Because I used to develop it, right? And so LinkedIn is a pretty powerful application, and I've done a lot to figure it out, and I use it as one of my primary recruiting tools to find people. And so I'm going to teach you guys effective ways that you can tweak your LinkedIn account and make your profile so that you can be found, so that you're so people are actively reaching out to you if you want a job, and they're reaching out to you for the right reasons. Like I did PeopleSoft development many years ago. It's been over 10 years ago, and sometimes a recruiter will hit me up and say, "Hey, I got this PeopleSoft job." It's like, what? How did that happen? So what you have to think about with LinkedIn is it's all keyword driven. It's not on.
Sorry.
Okay, sorry. That's okay. There you go. That's all right. It was only the introduction I missed. We're now getting to the good stuff. So LinkedIn is all keyword driven, and it's essentially just a database, right, of keywords. So if you think of it from that perspective, and before I go on, I kind of want to know a little bit more about my audience, because I saw this was on Meetup. Is everybody in here technical, in the technical field? You're not, okay. So there's a few of you who aren't. I thought these were all going to be students, but okay. So you can be in any field and still apply this, but my particular field is, technical recruiting. So it might be slanted towards technology stuff, but keywords are keywords. And this is how you'll use LinkedIn to help be found. And some people, I hope, have their laptops and are following along. Because I'm going to want to help. I'm going to want to use you and try and pull you up in a search, so that if you can effectively update things as we're going through this, then one of you guys can volunteer to see if we can find you. Okay, so your LinkedIn homepage, if you always think, if you click on your face, now you're going to edit your profile. And if your face isn't up there, that's the first thing I'm going to tell you. You need to get a professional picture headshot of yourself on LinkedIn. And the reason it needs to be professional is I don't want to squash, people's artistic desire. But when I go to meet a candidate at Starbucks, I need to find that candidate, and the only thing I have to go off of is their LinkedIn profile. So if you're wearing, you're on a ski mountain with your board and your helmet on, I can't tell who you are in Starbucks. Although some people have some very creative pictures out there, for sure. Okay, so you have a title and a headline, and this is at the very top. This is your headline. Now this headline is really powerful because it is an attention grabber, and it goes right with your name, and it's the first thing seen. So if you're looking for a job and you say seeking new opportunities, or you say seeking job in blah, 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 we stop, we pause. And so you want to have this headline make sense for you. If you're working, then obviously it can just be your title. And then your current position will show up where you're working. But I change this headline quite often when I'm searching. So I do stuff like AWS backend jobs found here. Or I'll say, looking for Java developers. And then when I start connecting with people on LinkedIn, they see my connection request and they go, oh, I get it. I know why she's connecting with me. So the about should be like the summary section on your resume. And that's how you edit the about. And here is a keyword paradise. Okay, so everything that describes your dream job should be in here, and there should be a keyword, there should be keywords. And at the bottom, see, I put specialties, these are all keywords, right? So I put specialties in there. And then at the bottom, I actually type keywords. And I just put those there so that if somebody was searching for me, but you would have every possible title you want to be called for. Do you want to be called for director, CIO, manager, every possible title that you can think of, you list those in the keywords. It's also a good place to write notes to us as recruiters. And a lot of people do that. I've seen a lot of LinkedIn profiles where they have in big capital letters, recruiters, and then they give us instructions. Do not call me about a position because I'm not available and I don't want to talk, or they'll say, do not email me, text me at this number, or they give specific instructions, or please do not call me for any position that is non-remote. I will only work remote jobs. So that's where you can put in some special instructions to people if you want to help yourself out and other people as far as timing. And you also, if you're looking for a job, I highly recommend that in this about, you put your email address and your phone number, or if you don't want them to call you, put your email address or a Slack account. Put your contact info in the about because you may not know it, but you can't see people's contact info unless you're first connected. So even if you put in LinkedIn your phone number and your email, if you don't connect with me and you're not my first connection, I can't see it. So it's maddening that somebody's like, seeking new jobs. And I'm like, well, how do I call you? So you want to make it easy for people. And you can always go back and take out that contact info once you have your job and you want things to calm down. And a lot of times people will say, recruiters, I just got a job. Thanks for, helping, but don't call me. Okay, so then you have your experience. And the experience should look like your resume for sure. But again, it should have keywords. And if you're, what technologies are you strongest with? Do you want to work with Node.js, React, and JavaScript? Then at the bottom of each job that you have, put specialties or technology : and then list all the technologies that you worked with. Okay, because that again is keywords. So now we're going to move on to skills and endorsements. Before we move, does anyone have any questions of what I've covered so far? No? Okay. So skills and endorsements. A lot of people don't take this part seriously, and then you end up getting endorsed for really random stuff, and it's not helpful. And so if I want to find somebody who has Java and JavaScript, but I need them to be stronger on the back end and know Java more than JavaScript, I try to look at this to see how they're weighted, like they have more endorsements for Java than they do JavaScript. So that's why you want these to make sense and you want your friends and network to endorse you. So how it works is you only get to pick 3 top skills, and those 3 will show up all the time. And then you can have other ancillary skills that people can also endorse you for. But frankly, you know, customer relational management is not, it doesn't matter. I don't care if I get endorsed for that. That's just super old. And so you want to put on the top your most important skills. So adjust endorsements and settings. So you can turn on your things that you want to be endorsed. Include me in endorsement suggestions with connections. So you can add that there. You want to do that. And there's even a skills quiz that you can take, and you can endorse yourself for almost anything. They show there's a lot of automatic things when you start typing. So let's see. This is how you move. If you wanted to move something up into your top 3, right? First of all, wait. You may not select more than 3 skills, right? You have to unpin something, to unpin it, to pin something else up there. So that's how that works. But these little things are how you move it around. So you can, I would suggest putting them in order of relevancy. And then I'm not seeing where I get to pick what I want to be endorsed for. Huh. Oh, here it is. Add new skill. Okay, so add new skill. So let's say you're a developer and you want to work with React.js. This is how you would add your skill. So there's lots of skills up there. You guys can play with this and see whatever comes up for you. I would put all your technologies that you know. If you're in management, you can put management, team building. Is anyone here in management? Okay, looking for management type jobs. And then you want to put every type of. Are you guys both IT related, technical? Project management?
Yeah,
You,
all those.
okay, you familiar to me actually. So you would put in there like project planning, project management, anything that you can find that's relevant, and then pick your top 3 wisely and turn on the thing that you want to be endorsed and get that going. Because you'll see that it tops out at 99, and for me, I'm topped out at 99 plus on technical recruiting, and that's my main goal because that's what I do. So, okay, so from there, that pretty well does your profile, gets your profile looking good and in order. You also want to check your settings on turning on. There is a feature with LinkedIn where if you make a change on your profile, it will show to the outer world. And just like social media, you want to kind of be popping up and you want to be making updates and having some activity. So you should turn that on in the security section of your profile where you actually do want to see. So you would click on the down arrow by your face, settings and privacy. Now some people get really, they want to be super sneaky and stealth, and the public profile, they lock it all down, and I don't really see a whole, I don't see a real reason to lock things down if you're trying to get a job. And you know, if you want to use a Google Voice phone number so your own phone isn't ringing and it's only for job searching, do that. If you want to use a special email address for job search, do that. I highly recommend that you use an email address with your full name in it and none of this funny stuff like golfer guy 99, because then when I'm trying to send emails to candidates that I've already talked with, I'm like, what was his name? No, wait, his name was Tim, but oh, he was the golfer dude. And you know, it really does, you want to come across professional, and then it's also easier. It's logical, it makes sense. So make it your name, and it can say job search or something at Gmail. Okay, so this is about who can see your email address, and most people have that only first and second connections can see your email address. And I don't have mine. See, you can really lock it down, but I should have mine as anyone on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have mine written publicly on the summary and stuff, but if you're looking for work, I would either turn that on or make sure you have the number in your summary. And then connections doesn't really matter. Okay, and then profile visibility. Where is the one, how LinkedIn? There's a place where you have to click it to show, how other people see your activity. This one. This is very important. Share job changes, education, and work anniversaries from profile. That you want to have on, and that's because the more you have it on, the more your profile, the more your face is going to scroll past people who are on LinkedIn, because if you go in today and make changes to your profile, like to the job description or your summary, this will notify people that you've made a change. So that's an important thing to turn on. Now let's move on to your job seeking preferences, which looks like you can get here from here, but you also can get there by going to the top tab over here, work or job, sorry. Has anyone used this feature? Okay. And you also can get email notifications about the types of jobs you want to be notified for. If you don't come in here and really clean this up, you're going to get pretty lame job suggestions. So you want to go in and make sure that you have your job seeking preferences set up, and you go into, did you have a question? Oh, okay. So here's your contact information, and that's for job applications. I have not applied for many jobs since I'm doing this. And you can upload your resume, and then you can apply for jobs on LinkedIn with one click. So, oops, I'm in the wrong place. If you're over here and you see a job that's actually posted on LinkedIn, you can pull it up, and I don't know if any of you have worked with this, but it shows you your skills and how you line up based on like your skills and endorsements. So it shows you how you line up compared to the job match. And if you want to apply, do they have the one-click apply?
Yeah, it's at the top.
There we go.
Easy
apply. Thank you. Yeah.
It works well.
Yeah, so you hit easy apply and it's just done, and it's easy. And it also keeps track of your job search for you. And you can save the jobs as well so that you can come back and you know where you've applied, at least on LinkedIn, but you should be tracking your job search wherever, if you apply on the internet with anyone else. So back to the job preferences. So if you go to career interests, when you see this beacon, this is how you turn on a beacon, and I'll show it to you because nobody else will see it out on LinkedIn but those of us who are recruiters and who pay for recruiter, it's called LinkedIn Recruiter. So I have not open to offers, but you would put actively applying on yours, and then it will turn on this beacon. So does anyone have their beacon turned on right now? Okay, what's your name?
Brent Chester.
Okay, hi Brent. Brett or Brent?
Brent.
That's what I put. Am I spelling your name correctly?
B-R-E-N-T-C-H-E-S-T-E-R. Should be right. This is the Let Recruiters Know You're Open beacon. right?
There you are, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Well, let's take care of that. We should connect. In fact, you guys should all connect with me and follow my company. Well, if you're in the technical field. Okay, so this great photo, Brent. Good job. So here's Brent's public photo and his regular LinkedIn profile out to the world. This is all I can see as someone who's not connected to you. Do you have more information in here that you're just not letting me see?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Some people have it that way, that they won't let you see, which is kind of a bummer. So when I hit View in Recruiter, that's the extra software that a lot of recruiters use. Here's Brent now, and look what I can see. He's open to new opportunities, and these are the locations where he wants to work, and the type of job he wants is full-time, not contract and not part-time. And that's what I can see. Let's see if I can see his contact info. Nope.
Okay.
And that's because we're not connected, if you have it in there. But you also don't have it on your public profile, so I still wouldn't, know how to call you easily.
I'll have to add that to the about section.
Yeah. So with Brent, I would actually have to use one of my credits and send an email and correspond with him through LinkedIn.
But if he had the information in the about, can you see it?
If he had it in his about, I could see it. If he had it on that page where I said show people my phone number because I'm job seeking, I could see it. And
I
yeah,
have to check because I thought I did change it.
you just want to make it as easy as possible. So that's what we're setting up there. Now let's see when I do a search on Brent Chester. In Recruiter, I'm gonna see, these are a lot of Brent Chesters, but look, he comes in at the top and see this? This is what we look for. Ding, ding, ding. That's the little thing that you're turning on your beacon. And you also get cut out of this pack of 345 Brent Chesters, and you get on this hot list of 41 Brent Chesters who are all looking for new opportunities. So that's why it's important, because we have this access behind the scenes and we see, okay, the other thing to note is this is all we see. And if we have a list of 345, what do we see? We see your name and your headline and where you currently work. And that's like it. Now, this is where I'm going to do a different search. This is where it's important to understand why you want to have a proper, proper setup on your account.
I had a question.
Sure.
You refer to that as headline. Should that be the position that you're currently working in, or a position that you want in the future?
It's whatever you write under your picture at the top. It's called the headline, and you edit the headline. And I wrote in there senior technical recruiter, and then I wrote in there looking for AWS backend developers. I can show it to you really quick.
But should you have like the back end jobs found here and your current title since you are currently working?
The way I would show up in a search, you would see both of those. So just like, see how I can see this guy as a Java developer and where he's working? And then I can see a current position and I can see like 2 past positions. And this is all I have to go on, and look at how many came up, over 1 million. But if I were to put in like location, Portland, and then again, I'm not gonna go through 3,000 people, so I immediately flip over here to my people who have beacons turned on. And don't forget to turn those beacons off if you're happily working.
Can you come back over how to turn it on?
Yeah, I will. But so I just want you to be aware that I have a choice of clicking on Alberto or not. And based on the fact that his headline says he's an Android developer, I'm not gonna click on him because I was looking for a Java developer. And so this is why you think of this, because then I just keep passing by people and then I go, oh, here's a Java developer at US Bank, and he was a software engineer, is like his actual title, but he gave me the headline of Java developer. So he's calling himself a Java developer. So then I'm like, he looks interesting. Let me open him up. And his headline is Java developer at his place of employment, which they do automatically at if you want them to. And then his current title there that he has is a software engineer. So based on those things, I would click him open. And then look, he has this. I'm not in the market for W-2 roles. So, okay, so let me go back to where you want to know where to turn on the beacon. It's right here. Okay, you go to jobs, you edit your career interests, and then you turn on actively applying. Okay, and then it also looks like you can, well, you have to do it there, right? And then you can say actively, casually looking. And then down here, I don't have mine filled out because obviously I don't like to get calls, but down here you can add the titles that you're looking for and go through all of this, the locations, what type of, like Brent had his clicked for full-time position. Is this a touch screen now? So if you fill all of this out really well, and you might want to enhance your profile with suggestions that LinkedIn makes to completely fill out your profile. But I don't have a formal education, LinkedIn, so what am I to do, right? I don't have a college degree to put down there, and they keep saying, yours isn't fully filled out because you don't have your education listed. But definitely start at the top, click it on, enhance your profile, and then fill out everything along the way, and you'll be good out there on the recruiter side. Was there something else I was going to show you? I felt like there was one more thing that I was going to also show you, again, how to do it. Oh, the headline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So early this morning, I was in suggestions from LinkedIn, and it showed me that thing that you were talking about, like the skills, and which skills which skills are matched with my profile.
Right.
That the guy is looking for.
Right.
He said that only 2 did, and then I saw the rest of the list of that job, and it says polymorphism, inheritance, and those kind of things inside of, more detail into, what you want to do. So, essentially, my question is, should we add literally just as many keywords as we can from everything that we on the skills?
If you really do it, and if you want a job doing it. So again, you're not in the technology field?
Yes, I'm in the technology.
Okay, so what do you wanna be when you grow up? Just kidding. What are you doing, or what do you call yourself?
I guess the generic software development.
Okay, but what technologies do you wanna work with?
What if I'm open to
Okay, now this is a personal career path adventure that you're gonna have to spend some time on, because LinkedIn, can't. The thing about LinkedIn that you should just think of is it's my story. It's telling you where I've been and where I want to be going, and it's perfectly appropriate in your about section that, like, a recent college grad looking for an entry-level position within technology, open to blah, blah, blah. My passion is for security and hacking or whatever. And then someday I would like to be a security engineer. Something like, all of those things would be helpful in your about at the top. But as far as the skills and endorsements, you shouldn't use anything that you obviously aren't good at, and you shouldn't get yourself endorsed for things that you don't want to be contacted about. So sometimes I contact people and they're like, I don't want to work with that technology ever again. It's like, all right, well then maybe you should just remove it, from your profile if you so hate it, because then you won't get called for it. So it sounds like you have to kind of just think and get out there and maybe do an internship. That was another thing I was gonna offer, is that this is a good way, if you're not ready for a position, to find an internship. You can put on your headline, looking for technical internship at the top. So again, here's how you do your headline. You clicked on your face, went to your profile, you click on the pencil to edit, and here's your headline, and it's even called headline. Now, they have here current position, and so you can make your headline at your company name or not.
So that's where you can, when you were searching people a minute ago, and you clicked on that Java developer, he put that in there. So that
Yes.
when he came up in the stack,
He had Java
It just said-
developer, that was his headline, but software engineer was actually his position
right, that's why you saw
down
both.
below. Right.
But the headline one is the one where you could
Type
or
whatever
send
you
a
want.
message.
Yeah. And seeking opportunities. Yes, Brent?
If you're applying to, I'd say I'm applying to 2 or 3 different titles as opposed to just focusing on one.
Uh-huh.
Is there a more generic headline that I could be using that's a little more encompassing?
Use all 3 titles. Looking for job opportunity in blah, 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 blah. And then explain more in the about. If we click you up, and we'll read your about.
That works for me too.
I mean, the current position, if you are not working right now,
Uh-huh.
what should I say there?
If you're not working right now, you should say open for new opportunities. And you should put in, what do you want to be working in?
In marketing.
Okay. You can say looking for a marketing job, open for new opportunities in marketing, that kind of thing. Marketing analyst, seeking new job, anything like that.
And so other people are gonna see that, not just the recruiters, correct?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you for pointing that out.
Yeah, like
The-
if
the
your
headline
boss
is
goes and
public.
looks at it,
Right,
actively seeking,
right.
okay.
And be aware that if you work in a larger company, it's likely that they have a recruiter. So
They're gonna see it.
if the internal HR person has recruiter, you might come up on one of their searches as having your beacon on. So that's kind of a personal preference. I was kind of assuming coming in here that most of the people here were just graduating from the Tech Academy and were looking for jobs and internships. But yeah, so if you guys are working and you don't want your employer to know, it's a toss-up because you can't just put out there seeking new opportunities and you can't turn your beacon on. Well, you can. I would say it's safer to turn your beacon on than put a headline. I would turn on your beacon, and if anybody talked to you about it, you would say, oh, I didn't even realize that. It's been on for years, because there's no way that we can tell how long it's been
Well,
on.
the old guy I used to work for said he wouldn't hire anybody that wasn't looking for a job. You know?
Oh,
So he says, yeah, if you're not looking for a job, that means you're here, that means you're happy.
right.
If you're not happy, you need to talk to me about it. Don't change, yeah.
So, okay, so that was, one thing is the location that I can see when I look on LinkedIn. These are the locations where he's willing to work, which is virtually anywhere. Not very narrowed down. The introduction, that's what I'm looking for. So be sure to fill out your introduction. And does
Where's
anyone
that?
know where that is? Because I missed it over here. To fill out your introduction so that
Is that different than the about?
I think it is different. Near my home. I'm sorry, I didn't, here it is. Note to recruiters. See, I didn't have my beacon on, so once you turn your beacon on, then just go down this page carefully and fill everything out. Note to recruiters is, and this is, a good place to draw attention. You can also do this in your public about, if you're saying, don't call me unless it's a remote position or something like that, you could do it in the public space as well. But you can, I only work with nice people. And then when somebody looks at you on LinkedIn, this is what we see. This whole open to new opportunities is what we see that can't be seen publicly. Okay. Any other questions?
Does your resume need to be the same information that is in the profile? Or can we?
Not necessarily. Your resume could be slightly different. Some people have a resume that might have more information, or they have a resume, they have two resumes. Some people are like, I'm trying to be a project manager, but I also could be a BSA. So they depending on what they're applying for, they use a different resume. But their profile, this is where it gets a little tricky, and especially with a message that if your message isn't really clear because it's bits and bytes and it's on or off, or in LinkedIn, you've got to come up with kind of a clear keyword type message. And if you need to explain things in the about area, you can, like saying, I'm open to any technology positions. Here's my passion. Here's what's interesting to me. I read those abouts, and I like it when people tell me something about themselves. I first built a computer when I was 12 years old or something. I mean, these are the things that I remember in my head because people tell me something interesting about them. Or they'll say my first computer was a Commodore VIC-20 or something, Yeah, and so that is of interest. But where was I going? I thought I was talking
Difference
about.
between profile and resume.
Oh, right, yeah. So your LinkedIn profile, unfortunately, you can only put one title per job, where you could tweak the titles if you had more of a PM resume, but you can always do two titles. If your ex-employer is not going to come take away your birthday because they called you a security analyst 2, which nobody knows what the 2 means because they don't know whether there's a 5 in that company or there's a 3 in that company. So you can call yourself a senior security analyst to make it, maybe there's only 2 levels, and so the 2 means you're senior. So you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. If you are a project manager doing a lot of business systems analysis, you can put project manager / BSA so that we can find you for a BSA position. Make sense? What do you do? What's your title?
I'm director of learning online coding school.
Okay, great. Were you the one who contacted me originally? No, you're not with this
No,
school.
not here.
Okay. And so everybody also, while you have a chance, if you're in the tech industry, follow my company here because we post our jobs on LinkedIn and you'll be able to see the jobs that we're posting. Unfortunately, I don't do any marketing positions, but I do post them on Big A Tech Search, and you can also all connect with me. I'd be happy to work with you guys as you're moving on through the career, especially for the young technology folks who are getting started with internships, etc. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, to go back to the career interest section,
Uh-huh.
if we have a lot of that stuff in our about section, is there anything that you in particular want to see in that section as a recruiter?
In this open to new opportunities?
In that, yeah, that's
Oh wait, where's the box?
yeah,
There it
the
is.
secret descriptor section.
Right. What I like to see in that open to new opportunities part is I like to see just specifically what you're looking for. If it's like he used it really well by saying, I can't do W-2 jobs, I can only do contract jobs. And let's see what Alberto tells us. I don't know that there's anything really specifically to me other than important information about you, and I can't tell you what that information is, but he says, hey, I have unlimited PTO, the more autonomy the better, looking for great benefits and stability. So this is what he's looking for. And a lot of companies nowadays have unlimited PTO. Is anyone here working with unlimited? Where do you work?
Java software.
Oh, okay, JAMA, right? If you guys call it JAMA, I always call it JAMA. And they have unlimited. Do you take advantage of it, or do you think it's a farce? Because I hear both stories.
So it's really nice to not have to worry about accruing PTO when you first start, because otherwise, like, if something comes up, you
You
need
could,
time off,
yeah.
you, like, aren't getting paid. So I really like that. I think it kind of depends on the role you're in and who your manager is, because your manager would approve it, and they still have a suggested amount you should, like, take per year.
Uh-huh.
Which is like 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of it's
up to you and your manager. Because I've sometimes heard that it puts reverse pressure on you to not take time off because you don't want to abuse it and all that. So, interesting. That's what Alberto is looking for. And then he has a summary. And he writes about himself in third person, which is fine too. But look at, he was a professional ice show skater. Now I do want to call Alberto, even though I don't have an Android developer job. That's pretty cool. I was an ice skater. I had dreams of being in the Ice Follies. And he did it. So that's a good thing to, these are the kind of things, again, these things stick in our head. They separate you out of the crowd. And once you put up a professional picture, I would suggest putting up that professional picture and leaving it there for years. And the reason why is it's a familiarity, and it's not like Facebook where we know you, but we know that one photo of you, we know that one mugshot. So as we're going through our LinkedIn, and we're on LinkedIn all day, every day, right? So as we're scrolling through and we see posts from people, I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah. And then the picture helps us identify and know who you are, and if you keep changing the picture every week, or you have a picture that you can't see, then it becomes, it doesn't work for us in a professional setting. If you're looking for jobs. Okay. Any other questions? Wondering if there's anything else.
Is it okay to post an attachment on your about? You can do that, right?
Yeah, you can put an attachment on your profile. You can actually put your resume out on your profile. And it's kind of, does anyone have their resume on their profile?
I use it.
Okay. Because I don't know, it's on the back end for us, it's a little bit wonky. It's not like a great, the resume situation on LinkedIn is not working well. It's buggy. Yes.
Question, on your LinkedIn profile, is it okay to have a link to your GitHub and Treehouse account, or is it better just to have it as a separate PDF and you just upload it whenever you see a job that matches your profile?
I think that you should put your GitHub, and I would put my links on there for sure, because some people want to easily go look at the work or the contributions that you've made.
Okay.
I mean, if you're proud of your GitHub, let's be clear on that, because I talk to some people and I say, do you have a GitHub account? Yeah. Is it something you want me to share with the managers? Is there anything impressive? Oh, I haven't touched it in 3 years. Well, then let's not share it,
So if you're just comfortable listing it, then go ahead and do it.
Yes, then it's better. If you're comfortable, ideally it would be, if that's your type of position, that you should have a GitHub. Ideally your GitHub looks great and you're proud of it and it's always listed. Yeah.
By the way, the answer to my question was, do you recommend to have that resume attached or no?
I think it's good because some people who don't have their profile set up properly, at least the resume now gives me their phone number and their email. I'm just saying that on the back end for us, it's not a great feature, because when we try to click on it and open the resume, most of the time it bounces us back to the home screen, and it's just kind of clunky right now. I mean, LinkedIn is constantly improving, so hopefully they'll get that fixed. But yes, if you're actively looking, go ahead, if you don't mind having your contact info public. If you don't want your contact info public, you know where to put it. You put it in that little notes to the recruiter, right?
I had another question kind of following back up on the GitHub portion of things. What would you recommend to someone who has two GitHubs? So like I've sort of neglected my personal GitHub while I've been working, and my work GitHub has a lot more activity and stuff on it, so the repos are all private. Is it still worthwhile to show that you do have like activity on GitHub? Like would you share both of them even though
Well,
they
so,
can't see
but,
details
so
of what
your work ones, they won't let them see the work you've been doing.
No, but it shows up like that you've been active in a little green dots on your page. So is that
I
still
think I would share both of them, but I also, if you're thinking of looking for work, you might think of doing a project and throwing it out there, if it would be impressive. Yeah, or if you're a web developer, anybody web developer front end, okay, you have a portfolio or some sort of website that you've built? Yeah, so you should be sharing that. And again, it needs to be something you're proud of. Some people have shared things with me that I'm like, I don't think this is gonna help you. So let's not, be too loud and proud sometimes. So make sure it's a good one that you put some effort into, otherwise don't do it, I guess is what I'm saying. So any other questions that you guys would have, just maybe for a technical recruiter, not about LinkedIn? No? Okay. Salaries or anything? What school do you work for?
Treehouse?
Treehouse. I think we're connected on LinkedIn, and I think I've talked to you before.
We're not, but I sent out.
Oh, we're not? Okay. So I don't look familiar to you? I don't know why you look familiar to me. Okay, so, well, I guess that's it, unless anybody has any other questions.
Well,
Thank you for
I'm
your
gonna contact you, probably Monday or
Okay,
I'm looking for a change.
okay, great. Yes.
I'm curious about the salaries question, like what is to be expected, let's say coming out of the tech academy
What is your job title?
with no previous experience in the tech field.
Uh-huh. If you have no previous experience, but what job is it that you would do? Is it development or security or?
Yeah, probably, I don't know, like.
Full stack, maybe?
Oh, okay. The first thing I would do is look for internships and look, so internships, looking for internships is a little different. Again, you want to update your profile so that people will see that you're out there, and hopefully people running the internship programs in the large companies like Intel and Tektronix. Do you know of any as well that run internships? There's Tektronix, there's Intel, there's more of the larger companies that would hire interns, and they should come and find you. And you also can call them and apply online with them, because as a recruiter, recruiters don't usually work with somebody without any experience, because they have to pay us a fee to find you. And so you want to try and get a couple internships while you're going through the program, if you can, under your belt, so that even if it's part-time experience. Also, don't forget about volunteering. Do some volunteer stuff and put it out there. Build somebody a website. Go to a nonprofit. Have you done that before? Where did you build a website?
Built a couple of websites for friends and family who are starting new businesses.
See, excellent. And then that adds to his resume, and he also can list it as work time. Between this time and that time, I was a freelance web developer, and here's the sites I built. And so that works too for getting experience.
Where would you put that? Like if you work on Upwork and you build websites for people, but
You put it right here as your job, like you would put, see how he has self-employed. You could put freelance, whatever, and then you would write what technologies you used in, oh, maybe you can't see the screen. Can you see the screen? Okay, so you would put freelance or self-employed, write what technologies you use to build these, and then if you can, if you're proud of them and it's not confidential, list the websites that you built. And then people can see your work, and then that gives you work experience. Do some project for your church or whatever.
So going off of that, is it better if you did freelancing? Is it better to do a per project listing? Like in the experience section, do you create a new listing for each time that you've done freelance work?
If it's a significant amount of time, if it's like you spent 2 weeks on one project and a month on the other, then I would lump it together and say during this whole time period, I was doing freelance stuff. But if it's like you spent a year on one and you spent 6 months on another, then you could break it out if you wanted to. But what company are you going to put it for? I mean, I guess, so if you're, the reason I brought up the church thing is because I remember this one guy had some very valuable experience doing a whole bunch of networking for a church, a large church. And then when I drilled down into it, it turns out it was volunteer work and it was his church, which was lovely because it helped them and it helped him have this experience, but it was like an 8-month-long project. So he put that church as his employer and then his description of what he did there. Where if you're building websites, you might want to put, freelance, web developer, self-employed or whatever, and then just list those websites, not as if those businesses were your boss, but more that you have the discipline to work on your own, to work remotely. I assume you didn't work in their offices. And so that shows a whole different level of somebody's autonomy, right? All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.